the socialite, the nice guy, the girl on the verge, the alcoholic, and the concierge. Everyone is a suspect and no one is as they seem. Hi friends, and welcome back. I am so excited to be getting into another review with you. So we are going to be getting into The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. Now this is actually another mystery book. So I think this is going to be my third mystery book review within the past month, which is really surprising for me because prior to Daisy Darker, I really wasn't into mysteries. I never picked them up prior to Daisy Darker. I just really liked light, funny, sweet reads. I liked rom-com type of books and didn't really go outside of that. And I have recently realized how silly that is. I love the diversity of books that I have been reading lately, mystery being one of them. So hopefully you are ready for some more mystery reviews, including this one. So this one was on my list for a while. I had actually been interested in this book and had it down on my list to read at some point. But as I'm sure you can all relate to, my list of books that I would like to get to at some point is about a mile long. So it was there. I knew that I would get to it at some point, but I hadn't yet. And then one of you guys actually reached out and asked me to do a review of this book. So of course it had to take priority. That made me so excited to know that one of you wanted this book in particular. So it was all the reason that I needed to finally give this a try. Let's get into it. So this is a locked room mystery in a Paris apartment. And this apartment has some secrets, some secret stairwells and some other things, some eclectic neighbors within the apartment, and a missing brother. Now, if you are wondering, a locked door mystery is another genre within mystery. So it adds an extra layer of suspense and problem solving and critical thinking to the plot. So what it means is that there is only one point of entry to where the person is found. It's not like they're out in the street and anyone could have access to this spot. Generally, it is somewhere that only has one point of entry, like one door, and usually it's locked from the inside. So someone please tell me, how does that work? That is the whole point. It kind of gets you thinking right away that there is something else going on here, because if they can only get in and out through one door and it's locked from the inside, what has happened? So let's discuss our main characters a little bit. We have Jess and Ben, and they are siblings. And Jess is a little bit troubled. She's kind of reckless, and she gets herself into situations that you're trying to understand why she's doing the things that she is doing, but a good quality is that she is very resilient. Now, let's discuss Ben a bit. Ben is much more posh and sophisticated than Jess. He lives in a Paris apartment, but he is also a journalist, and he is very lovable until he's not. The book begins with Jess getting into a little bit of trouble at the bar that she works at. So she reaches out to Ben and asks if she can come to stay with him at his Paris apartment. Of course, he says absolutely. And she gets on some trains and she's traveling over to him, and he sends her a voice message that pretty much just instructs her that when she arrives, she'll ring the bell and he will open the gate and he'll be waiting for her when she gets there. So she travels. She gets a little bit nervous on the train, and as she's walking through the street, I mean, she's alone traveling through a city she's not familiar with at night. So it's already not really a great environment for her. And so she's already feeling just a little bit on edge, and she gets to the apartment and she rings the bell and he doesn't answer. So she thinks, okay, maybe he can't hear me. She texts, she calls, nothing. So she starts to get a little bit worried. And while she's going through this process of trying to get in touch with him, She alludes to things in her surroundings not feeling right. She thinks that someone's following her. She thinks that someone's hiding in the bushes. So pretty much from the very beginning of this book, we're getting that weird, mysterious vibe from our characters. And she's there. She's sitting there. I mean, I think it's like midnight or really late at night or early in the morning. She's just standing in the street outside of this gate to an apartment building that she can't access. So like any normal and reasonable person, she breaks in. So she finds a way into Ben's apartment. And on the way, she sees some questionable things happen in the courtyard. That's a whole other thing. She gets up to the apartment and he's not answering the door. So she picks the lock, which she also knows how to do. So she has now broken into his apartment and picked the lock. She enters the apartment and things just feel off. His stuff is there. The things that someone would take with them when they leave, their phone, their keys, their wallet, are still there in the apartment, but he's not there. And as she's walking around trying to find things, she is attacked. She's attacked by his cat. His cat jumps off of a counter, latches into her back, and claws her. Girl, that is your sign. Go, run, get out of there. So our girl Jess doesn't leave. Typical. She has now broken into the apartment building, broken into her brother's apartment, been attacked by a cat, has no idea where her brother is. So she starts to look into things. She starts to think, do I know where he might be? Has he mentioned any places he likes to go eat? Is there somewhere that I can look for him? But then we start to realize that her and Ben are not that close. She can't think of where he likes to hang out. She doesn't know if he has a girlfriend. She doesn't really know anything about his personal life. And really, she doesn't even know how he's able to afford this beautiful Paris apartment that he's in. There's just a lot of questions, and she feels extremely uneasy. And she's trying to find anything that she can as a way to find him because he still hasn't responded at this point. So she decides she is just going to wait it out in his apartment. Maybe he got busy or just forgot she was coming and left all of his stuff there, and he'll be there in the morning when she wakes up, right? Now, this is where the story starts to really get interesting. So we've met Jess, we've met Ben. Ben is missing. And Jess has now stayed in his apartment overnight without any contact from him. So the next morning, she decides that the only thing she can do is start to look around the apartment and see if she can find anything that will lead her in the direction of where he might have gone. So she checks his apartment, can't find anything. She decides she's gonna try and walk around the apartment building. Maybe some of the other residents have met her brother or know where he might hang out, or if there's somewhere he might be that she can look. So she starts exploring, and there's some weird and questionable things happening through all of that. I'm not gonna give you any spoilers, but we start to meet the other residents of 12 Rue des Amants. So sorry for anyone French. I know that that was terrible, but it is super fun for me to do, so thank you for dealing with it. But she starts to meet the other residents of this apartment building. We have the socialite, the nice guy, the alcoholic, the girl on the verge, the concierge, and they're all kind of a suspect, and no one is really as they seem. So each character, after their introduction into the story, ends their first bit of the story with everything was fine until Ben arrived. So that kind of sets our tone for the entire book. What did Ben do to make everyone hate him? And also, where is he? So the chapters of this book are then split into each resident's perspective. So for example, chapter 1 was Ben, chapter 2 was Jess. Then we go to the socialite, the alcoholic, the girl on the verge. We get to know them, get to know their names. But I actually really love when stories are written that way because you get to have the experiences through each character's point of view. And you learn more about them and their perspectives in that, which I just really enjoy, especially in mysteries. So Jess is trying to communicate with the other residents, and they're really standoffish. And all that we know is that they all, for some reason, blame Ben for something. So she is just trying to gather whatever she can. As Jess dives into her brother's life and tries to look into the lives of the other residents, she untangles this massive web of intrigue and secrets, and no one is as they seem, and she doesn't really have anyone that she can trust or talk to try and find her missing brother. The writing style of this book was fantastic. I was intrigued all the way through, and like I said, I really enjoyed the way that each chapter was split into a different character's perspectives, and I really loved the information that was shared about each character at each point through the book. But there is something else that I loved about this book, and that was actually the description of the apartment building. So I really felt like the apartment building was kind of a character all on its own. The author uses her description of the apartment building and all of its nooks and crannies to create this really spooky and creepy and mysterious atmosphere, which is perfect for a mystery book. You feel it right from the start. I am talking secret hallways, peepholes into other people's apartments. It is wild, but I was obsessed with each new piece of information about the apartment. I just could picture it so vividly based on the author's writing style. Actually, I feel like it may make a really good movie, because I would just love to see the apartment building take place in a movie. I think that it would be fantastic. But anyways, I digress. So the apartment building played a major role in this book, and each level of the apartment building was for a different resident. So I think that it was like a 5 or 6 story apartment building, and each resident of the building had their own floor. There were some shared spaces like a rooftop terrace and a wine cellar, but other than that, they all kind of lived their own separate lives and each had their own section of the apartment. So now you know what I loved about the characters, about the writing style, and just about the plot in general. Let's get into our final review. So for this book, I am going to give it 4 stars. Like I said, I really enjoyed pretty much all of the book. I thought that the writing style was fantastic. The characters were well developed. The cliffhanger was perfect. Couldn't have written it better myself. Loved every minute of reading that book. And I really loved the Parisian elements to this. Just some of the expressions and situations that they were in were not things that you would encounter in the United States, or just maybe not in that way. And also just the description of some of the food that Jess eats while she is searching for her brother. I know that the food is not the important part. It is for me, but I mean, our girl is describing croissants and just some really delicious things. And yeah, the food is what gets me every single time. I just loved this book, and I think that it is a great recommendation as we head into October. I know I said that in my last mystery book review, but I think that mysteries are the perfect October read, and we are so close to being there. So definitely, if you like mystery books, if you are looking for something spooky going into October, give this one a try. You won't regret it. Book will keep you on your toes with its constant deceit, description of its characters and apartment and just Paris in general. You are going to love it. Now again, this book came in as a request from one of you, and that just makes me so excited. I would love to hear from you guys. If you have any books that you would like for me to review, I would be more than happy to do that. Please comment and let me know. And I also have links down below to Goodreads and TikTok. Please connect with me there too. I love to communicate and engage with you guys. And on TikTok, I share some things that I don't share here. Same with Goodreads. There are some reviews that don't make it on the channel, but I do post about them there. So if you want some additional information about what I am reading, please feel free to connect with me. And of course, I also have a link down below to Book of the Month Club, which there will be a review coming for my September pick soon. And you can use that link down below to get your first box for just $5, which $5 for a new hardcover book is phenomenal. So if you are interested, definitely use that to get a discounted price. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you all so much for your support. I appreciate it more than you know. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.